Now we go to the midway point of the senior Rotax division for their third heat. And here is your starting grid, and it's a big one. Matthew Higgins and Alexander Savinkov will line up on the front row. Kai Hunter and Kai Rilets, as we have a very, very slow 396. Oh, dearie me. That's Iva Anagnostiidis, who's pulled to the left-hand side, coming out of turn number 3, and she will be going no further in this race, trying to start the cart up. The marshal's saying, unfortunately, you've got to get out of there, I'm afraid. It's going to be Matthew Higgins and Alexander Savinkov on the front row. Kai Hunter and Kai Rilets, row 2. Mark Kimber, Zomarkovic, row 3. Austin Lee, Dion van Verven, row 4. Jaden Teen and Paul Simard, row 5. That is going to be Days Dams and James Swindells, Adam Valster and Lawrence Herboz, Ralph van der Pevert and Nolan Lemerhay, Steen Scholten and Montego Masson, Puck Gubbles and William Helgstrand. They round out the top 20. Zach Scowler due to start 21st, with Iva Anagnostiadis pulling to the side of the circuit on the sighting lap. She might not be able to make it any time for the race start in the 396, due to start 22nd. Enzo van den Dickenberg and William Christensen, row 12. Robbie Stodder, Vincent van Kerkhoffen, that's an all-Belgian, row 13. Then we have Gwendal Gomat, Jules Roussel, Mitch Haynert, Gussie van Gop and Jake Bezelbeck. That is your 31-strong grid, about to go into battle for 7 minutes, plus an additional lap of racing. So it's Higgins on pole, Savinkov alongside. Through the chicane they go. Red lights on the starting gantry. Revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out. We are underway, and a good start by the inside line, especially by Matthew Higgins. Kai Hunter slingshots past Alexander Savinkov going into turn 1. 2. Is it going to be 3 wide? Yes, it is. And someone's going to hit the grass, and then he clatters into somebody else. A scramble for the GKS Lemons power carts at the back end of the field, including Gussie van Gorp and the 343. Now through turn 5, the sweeping fast right-hander they go. It's getting a bit close for comfort. Mark Kimber now is up into, that looks to be second, behind Matthew Higgins. Austin Lee is third. Kai Hunter now in fourth. That is Dion van Verven. I could notice that because that's a Sol CRG at the front end. And he's also got his Team Netherlands race suit on from last year. Oh, nearly a little bit of a moment there for both Kai Hunter and Austin Lee. Austin Lee was trying to get through on the exit of turn number 1. Had to back out of it, modulate the throttle, and just go, right, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get you a little bit later on down the line here on the lap. Higgins has got a lead of nearly 9/10 of a second ahead of Kimber. Austin Lee nearly opened the door for Kai Hunter to get through, but there's Jaden Teen in the 380, now running under different colours. With JJ Racing, he's got an opportunity to showcase his prowess, and behind them, that is going to be Kai Rilets in the 374. Higgins' lead. Oh, it's getting a bit feisty, and a lunge up the inside. Austin Lee and Kai Hunter are swapping. Paint light is going out of fashion. Dive bomb attempt from Jaden Teen. That allowed Kai Rilets to get through, and Jaden Teen's lost another position to Dion van Verven. And now they were sidewall to sidewall. Little bit of sign language communication there, as through on Kai Hunter goes Kai Rilat. Now, it seems like the aggressive tendencies have started to elevate ever so slightly regards to some of the drivers. There is a bit of a wind pickup. We did have a little bit of dark cloud cover that was being blown in the direction of turn number 1. We did have some blue sky just up above. No sun to speak of unless it was a little bit earlier on in the race. Earlier on in the day, actually. It was during, I think, the Micromax pre-final. But we've just under 4 minutes to go of this race. Here's the lunge attempt. Oh, dearie me. Jaden Thien getting his elbows out. Ad personam there by Dion van Verven, who's now got through. He had to quickly have those cat-like reflexes on a flick of a switch. Did the 377. Nolan Lemeray looks to be very menacing right now. I think it might be just behind Taze Dams in the 9th place kart, the 321. Higgins now has the lead of just over 6/10 of a second. What on earth was that from Jaden Thien? My goodness, he just instantly dived it through. He was on the left-hand side of the start-finish straight, and he just went bang up the inside of through on Dion van Verven. Now he's got a taste of his own medicine. Kai Hunter's Stephanie got the fire in his belly. He got past Jaden Thien. He then, on the very next corner through the turn 4, 90-degree left-hand hairpin, sent it through as well. That just goes to show how quickly you make one decisive move like that, and then all of a sudden the floodgates open. Top 3 rounded out by Belgium's Kai Rilat. It's just under 1.1 seconds, as there was an attempt on one of the drivers from Dams Racing. Looks like Taze Dams might have had Lawrence Herboz. Yep, that's an OTK chassis. Montego Marston nearly has James Swindells up the inside. And there is the 3-3-4. Alexander Savinkov started on the outside of the front row. Now is down in 14th position. And still, the freight train keeps on rolling its way into town with Rotax propulsion at your right-hand side on all the respective carts. 1.4 separated the top 4. Top 9, top 10 makes that now 6.736 seconds from 1st to 10th position. Now Matthew Higgins, the young man from Trafalgar in Wales, is trying to keep a hold of that lead. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It depends on how hard the drivers behind want to push. So first of all, you've got to think of mechanical sympathy. You've got to think about the oils. You've got to think about the fluids that are in the cart and how they get tuned and sorted out and where and why for. With 20 seconds to go on the timer, it is still Matthew Higgins leading the way. So now, timer has expired. We're going to have 2 more laps after this. Matthew Higgins knows what it takes to win a weekend, also knows what it's like to try and go for a championship. But one more lap to go. Who's going to want it the most? Is it Higgins? Well, it's now Hillertz that has got through. So Hillertz up into the race lead. And there's Kimber just behind, rocking the traditional skid lid that he sports. And there goes Kai Hillertz. Well, he swept towards the outside, going into the left-hand 90-degree hairpin. That's the sign he would have wanted to see. Yeah, you can get past him, not a problem at all. It's not going to be long now because we do have the checkered flag and it waves and it goes to a new winner here today. Belgium's Kai Hillertz ahead of Matthew Higgins, Mark Kimber, Austin Lee, Kai Hunter, who was battling with Kimber for the race lead a little bit earlier on. He's going to have to settle for fifth. Dion van Verven, Nolan Emmeré, Jaden Teen, Zombar Kovac and Lawrence Herbols round out the top 10. Taze Dams, Montego Masson, James Swindells, Alexander Savinkov, Mitch Hainert, Zach Scala, Ralph van der Pavert. Then we've got Robbie Stoddard, Jules Roussel, Puck Gubbles, Gussie van Gorp, Adam Valster, Vincent van Kouwkoffen, who rounds out the top 27 in this field. It's Enzo van den Dickenberg's family that's supporting him. They try to come to every single event that they can. And we've got Wendell Lozma from France. Jake Bezelbeck being the last of the classified finishers. And unfortunately, Iva Anagnostiidis retired before we'd even gotten on to the formation lap itself.